Heart disease definitely runs in my family. 3 generations of women, maternal side. My mom, my grandmother. My mom had been complaining about her arm hurting for like a week or two prior to her heart attack, and we just thought it was she had gotten to a fender bender, and we thought it was like because the car hit her. She was complaining like my arm hurts, it's numb. And we was like, just brush it off. And that was one of the signs the doctor said she was having a heart attack. She was having heart attacks throughout that time, and we didn't know, like little ones, because she had scar tissue on her heart. So he said she had had a couple before and didn't know it. My mom passed away when I was 19. And I remember saying to myself, like, this can't be real. So as soon as she passed away, like I went to the cardiologist and I was complaining of chest pain. I wanted to make sure I was okay because I'm like, she's super young. I went and got a stress test done. And when I got that test done, the first thing he asked me was, do you drink, do you smoke? And I was like, no. So he was like, you won't die of a heart attack. He never asked about any of like the dietary needs or like, foods that play a part. So I thought that was kind of interesting because he's like, only thing that's gonna cause me to have a heart attack is if I drink or smoke cigarettes, nothing else, which I thought was really bizarre. When my grandmother had her heart attack, we knew, but my mom didn't allow us to go to the hospital and see her. She had a triple bypass. She got cut from her ear all the way down to her toe to get the veins they needed for her heart. And she was 55. She literally had a heart attack cooking Easter dinner for us, and my mom gave her like a bare aspirin. And speaking to them over the years, I used to ask like, what happened to your mother? And she's like, oh, she died peacefully in her sleep. And then years later, she's like, oh, she had a heart attack. After my mom passed, I knew that I couldn't eat the things that they were like cooking and feeding us. Like I come from like a Southern family, so they ate a lot of pig feed and pig ears and chitlins and all of these things that like are super unhealthy now that we know of all of the things that have come out about it. My mom was big on like steaks and like beef, so I stopped eating that often. I do eat it like a luxury, but I don't eat it often. We're dying at an alarming rate, especially Black women. Just knowing your history and your family history is important.
Hello, I'm Dr. Julissa Hernandez, Board Certified Naturopathic Doctor. Your diet is the greatest asset that you have to prevent heart disease. You are going to want to maintain a diet that's very low in saturated fats, but you'll want to bring in things like broccoli and sea veggies and kale and anything that looks like those beautiful leafy greens. Wonderful things to bring in. It's important to understand that 50% of women are more likely to suffer from a heart attack and die of a heart attack than men. Again, your risk is higher during menopause, and sadly, women gravitate towards HRT, hormone replacement therapy, when they're going through those changes of life. That actually can be a precursor to causing them to develop heart disease in the future, and start bringing in things that are going to actually nourish the body and help to balance hormones, because heart disease in women is hormone driven, unlike with men. And so start bringing in things like, for example, organic soybeans. And I understand that controversy, but I'm talking about the soybean, not necessarily soy products, so that you can help with that estrogen, progesterone balance that you need and help to prevent heart disease in the future. Congestive heart failure, for example, is something that tends to develop during menopause, where the blood is just not pumping properly. Let's say a woman that is still menstruating and is constantly every month for her menstrual cramps taking things like NSAIDs. Do you know that women that intake these drugs are 1/5 of the women that develop heart disease? And then you have those women that are using alpha blocking high blood pressure medications. All of these are known to cause heart disease. If you experience severe fatigue, you're extremely tired, also palpitations, and don't always look for the eminent chest pain that men usually suffer when they're in the middle of a heart attack. Most women, 30% of them, don't experience chest pain. Also look for things like jaw pain, ear pain, and also neck pain. Back pain as well is one of those things that you want to look for that can tell you that you could eminently be about to receive a heart attack.